look at other vehicles of where you can disseminate and put money.
Welcome to Leadership Beyond Burnout. This is the show that's here to help you and your teams heal, lead, and succeed. I'm Dr. Kimberly L. Wilson. I'm your guide on this journey to resilience, growth, and transformation. Together, we'll dive into stories, strategies, and insights that not only inspire, but empower real change in the way that you work and connect. Now, whether it's a fresh ideas for resilience or practical steps that'll help you create balance and joy, each episode is packed with tools to elevate your workplace and your life. So make sure you listen up for those strategies. To all our new listeners, welcome. And to our fired up friends returning this week after week, we are thrilled to have you back. Please engage with us during the show. Send in questions. Don't hesitate to connect with us anytime at drkimberlywilson.com. And today's episode is going to be sponsored by Leadership and Resilience Consultants, who's dedicated to building healthy workplace cultures and equipping women with tools to overcome and prevent burnout. Let's talk about today's guest. Today we have Dr. Shadé Y. Adu, an acclaimed digital brand strategist, best-selling author, and international speaker who thrives on igniting success in others. Her mission revolves around empowering women entrepreneurs to achieve generational wealth through income, influence, and impact. With a proven track record, she designs comprehensive solutions that guarantee results for brands and businesses. She's been featured on platforms like Hello Beautiful and Black Enterprise. Dr. Shadé's expertise transcends borders with workshops in Kazakhstan, Ghana, and across the U.S. Holding a PhD in curriculum and instruction from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, she credits mentors and spiritual favor for her triumphs, aiming to catalyze positive global transformation. And without further ado, let's bring on Dr. Adu.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you. I'm excited to dive right into all the change that you've bring to this world, and I'd love to hear how you bring healing.
Healing. So the first thing is I started my business over 10 years ago, and it's called Savvy Solutions Consulting because there were so many problems and challenges that people were complaining about, and I wanted to be a solutionist and a difference maker. So the first thing is there's going to be challenges. There's going to be issues and problems, but I always wanted to be that person. Well, let's look at it from this perspective and how can we find a solution and a strategy that guides us towards transformation and healing. Speaking about healing, I think it's so important that we have conversations about hurt. And we're in seasons where people feel hurt and upset about various things. And in order to get on that journey of healing, we have to identify the hurt first. So admitting it, feeling it, not feeling comfortable about it, and going through that transformational journey of change. So for me, I want to heal the world through women entrepreneurship and giving us a pathway and an opportunity to create income for ourselves so that we can take care of ourselves, take care of our families, and take care of our communities. And that's how I want my recommend my avenue or way of healing the world in a sense, starting with one woman business owner at a time.
That is beautiful. And when you talked about looking for opportunities for transformation, I immediately thought, now I don't know when you viewers are watching this, but right now it's just past the presidential election. And I'm sure that there are some who may be catastrophizing the situation, especially if they own a business and what that means for them. And rather than focusing on all the doom and gloom that may be encompassing them, how might you encourage them to look at opportunities?
So the first thing is to acknowledge that, yes, what they're feeling is valid. So I think a lot of people, there's some people who are trying to dismiss how people feel and not allowing people to feel their feelings. So the first thing is allow people, I'm going to say especially Black women, allow us to feel the way we want to feel. That's the first step. The second step is understanding that even in a season of what we wanted to do, create history that is not happening in this way, there's still opportunity. So then I have to put on my CEO and entrepreneurial hat. How can we look at this next 4 years as an opportunity for growth, financial abundance, and more? Because there's always going to be opportunities. Whenever there's challenges, whenever there's problems, there's opportunity. So now I have to put on my CEO hat. How can we look for an opportunity to build wealth? And entrepreneurship is a wealth building vehicle. So part of what I'm doing is I'm talking to financial experts. I'm looking at what the markets are doing. Where does money shift in a season or a potential presidency like this? Where did it shift years ago, 4 years ago, to try to get a better idea of what we need to do in order to be successful? So feel your feelings, be hurt, be upset, be mad, but mobilize. Because now is not the time to play checkers, it's time to play chess. And we have the opportunity to strategically be successful because number one, we know how to navigate in communities and spaces that were not made for us. We know how to thrive in those seasons, and we have a playbook of what has happened in the past. So we're not going into this season blindly. And now it's time to feel your feelings and let's get back to work. So that's kind of where I am right now. What can we do strategically? We want to encourage and we want to affirm people. We want to understand that there's still light in the world. There's still greatness and goodness. I am absolutely an optimist. But I'm also going to be a realist about this. How can we strategically position ourselves for more? What are the upcoming opportunities that we need to anticipate so that we don't got to get ready, we stay ready? And how can we mobilize, financially mobilize, so that whatever outcomes happen, we can mitigate some of our own risk because we have financial means? So the next frontier really is wealth, generational wealth. I would even say dynastic wealth. How can we build wealth so we have more choices and more opportunities in this upcoming season?
Now, when you say dynastic wealth, you mean building a dynasty. Is that correct?
We want wealth that lasts, like the Rockefellers and the Waltons and the Bezos. We want stuff that our children's children will never understand what poverty is because they were born with it. And that's how we have to think now. And that's going to require some sacrifices. That's going to require some challenges. That's going to require us to take risk today with the understanding that we're building something bigger that's going to span beyond our earthly bodies.
So now, if I'm listening and I'm a woman and I'm in leadership, and I'm wondering, is she saying that I can't build wealth?
No.
Working for someone else?
So if you are a woman in leadership, you need to understand that you need to be wealthy because it is a part of your healthcare plan. It is a part of your life care plan. It is a part of your wellness plan. You should absolutely be wealthy. The other piece of that is how can we position our wealth so that it is multiplied so that it lasts beyond us? So it is a both and. I absolutely want to make it clear. I'm not saying you sacrifice your own life and you can't have it and you can't see it. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. You should be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor because if you're a woman in leadership, you worked hard to get there. You should be able to enjoy your fruits of your labor. And then the next layer of that is for you to put systems in place so that your future generations can also benefit from the work you're doing today. I understand that the work I'm doing today is not just for me. It's not just for the experiences that I'm having in this world. I understand that people will benefit from what I've done today years and decades and centuries from now.
So how does one who's working for a company and
Mm-hmm.
who doesn't have the capacity to say, oh, I'm going to go after this contract and do this, because I definitely know some women who have non-competes in their level of expertise and they
Mm-hmm.
can't have that side business or whatever. How do they utilize the resources they have at their company and just creating systems to build wealth?
Great question. So the first thing is we need people in companies and we need women that have spheres of influence. That is very important. And one of those things that I want to encourage women who have influence and who have access to budgets and things to open up doors and opportunities for other women to benefit from those things as well. So that's one of the opportunities for us to create generational wealth, is to hand it off to other areas. If we have a sphere of influence, how can we support other people and giving and providing them with access to our sphere of influence while you're still at your job? There are other ways, there are other vehicles. We have people in our community that talk about the stock market and futures and trading options. Look at other vehicles of where you can disseminate and put money. It doesn't have to just be in a 401k. It doesn't have to just be in a traditional retirement plan. There are other vehicles that you can do while still working your 9 to 5, even if you do not desire to be an entrepreneur. There are other ways for you to make investments and create passive income. And it could be investing in businesses. It could be in real estate. It could be in some other, it could be in life insurance. It could be in some other vehicle. So the key is I want us to think just beyond what we do at work, just beyond our title, and understand that if we want to build something that is bigger than us, we have to multiply the money that we have. And there are wealth vehicles that people use to do that. Now, I am not a financial advisor, but we have people in that community who have a higher level understanding of money. You need to have a money team. That's what I would say. That's the short answer. Get a money team that allows you to create a specific individualized money plan for you. That's the answer. Get yourself a money team, somebody who has a higher level understanding of money. Identify what your goals are, identify what your spending habits are, identify what you want your retirement plans to be, identify if you have children, what are the things that you want to leave for them, and then they will identify what wealth vehicles make the most sense for your lifestyle, your budget, your current income, and the goals that you desire. For some people, they may have more aggressive goals, so they'll have other aggressive financial vehicles for you. And if you have more maybe smaller goals, there could be some other options. So the key, I think, is to understand that you have options and that entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Everybody should not be an entrepreneur. We need people that work, because there's opportunities and things that you can do to support people in your position. So I think it's a both and if you do want to go into entrepreneurship, we can have that conversation as well. That can be another opportunity, but you don't have to be an entrepreneur to multiply the money that you currently have.
I think one of the things that often challenges people to building wealth, or even remaining calm during periods where they're feeling exceedingly stressed, is when you talk to people who don't understand what you're trying to do, and they discourage you, or they get you into a state of fear, and rather than mobilizing, you are frozen. Do you ever find that?
So the short answer is there are 8 billion people in this world. Find somebody else. You have to, it's so important that you have people that understand who you are as a person. They understand your lived experiences so that you can communicate in a way and have conversations with them. And I'll give you some examples of people that have this. Amelia Thomas, I think she's based in Alabama, who just has a higher level understanding of wealth and money. And she has trainings and series on this. Jeff Moore out of South Jersey, based in the South Jersey, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area, who talks about cash value life insurance. And even my own accountant, Shadé, we have conversations monthly to strategize. what should I be doing as a woman at my age with my lived experiences, my, demographic, lifestyle, location, zip code? What makes the most sense for me to do in order to thrive in the way I desire to thrive? So if you don't find, if one person is telling you, oh, it's not possible, you can't do this, you can't do that, there's other financial experts that are there. One of my former clients, Tiffany Graham, the Rich Miss Financial CFO, she actually teaches women who work 9 to 5s, who are in corporate, how to multiply their money. They buy apartment buildings or sometimes laundromats together. Those are some of the things that she helps her people invest in. So there are people. Find the good people, vet people, have conversations, and who you feel comfortable with, make those decisions about how you want to increase your wealth or how you want to distribute your money so that you can multiply it and be comfortable when you're ready to retire.
I'd love to learn, how did you get to this journey of doing what you do? And I'd love for you to share that. Yes, Dr. Adu, I'd love for you to share how you arrived at your journey now, where you're helping women entrepreneurs.
Are we recording? I don't see the countdown. Okay. Just want to make sure we're good. Okay, great. So almost over 10 years ago, I was living in the Republic of Kazakhstan. I was an international educator. I never was actually in corporate, but I helped develop international schools in the Republic of Kazakhstan in my early 20s. I was the first Black person they hired, one of the youngest, I think the youngest and the first. And I just made a decision I would not be the last. So by the time I left Kazakhstan, there was someone who looked like me at every school in kind of our district across the country. How did we get here? I had a calling that spanned beyond the four walls of the classroom. I knew I was supposed to do something else. I didn't know what that meant and what that was going to look like, but I knew that there was more. And a lot of people who transition into entrepreneurship, sometimes it can be something abrupt, like a layoff. Sometimes it's something in your life just catastrophically changes and you have to shift into entrepreneurship. But for me, it was a calling and it was a decision that I had to make. I knew that I had to leave Kazakhstan. It was just time to do something different. And I started my business online. And originally, I just wanted to motivate and inspire people. And I tell people, I liked getting a check. I liked my oil money checks. I was living a wonderful life, traveling the world, doing what I wanted to do. So I was very happy and fulfilled, but I knew that there was more and I was supposed to be doing something else. And I had to take that leap of faith to do the thing that I was born to do, that spanned beyond the four walls of the classroom. So sometimes you're going to leave a very comfortable situation, and that comfortable situation, because it was uncomfortable going to Kazakhstan originally. I didn't know what to expect being a Black woman, a young Black woman, going to the former Soviet Union. It was scary. It ended in Stan. I went in the 2010s, like this was an anomaly, right? But I knew it was something that I needed to do, because if I didn't do it, someone else wasn't going to do it. If I didn't go, someone else was not going to take that leap of faith. And I knew that I was going to be a trailblazer, and I knew people would take my lead. So sometimes you got to be willing to make the path, carve the path yourself. And if you're a woman in leadership, 9 out of 10 times, you are creating the path. You are the prototype. You are the archetype for what can come after you. And it sometimes can be a burden. But I knew that I was supposed to go to Kazakhstan. And then I thought that was the thing. Hey, travel the world, live your best life. This entrepreneurship thing, I did not see coming. But I knew that it was the next step in my life path. And through that process, I had to learn what to do when your check stopped coming in, right? I had saved money before I started my business, but it wasn't enough. I was like, I should have saved way more money. But I knew that I needed to learn entrepreneurship. I knew that I needed to find mentorship. That was a big thing for me, and it still is. who's already doing what I desire to do? How can I expedite my process? How can I collapse time? Because I don't have time to figure it out on my own. I was a smart student, you know? So smart students, we go to the tutor. We ask if we need math, chemistry help. We go to the chemistry teacher. We need math help. We're going to the math teacher. We go to the places and spaces that can help us get to the goal that we want to accomplish. So I just knew that I had to do the same thing in business. And as new challenges arose, new ideas and new opportunities arose, I needed to go into different spaces. And that's where I am right now, identifying new opportunities. Because part of being in business, you understand that businesses shift.
Right.
How business was for me 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, pre-2020, pre-pandemic, is entirely different than it's going to be going into this new season. So I need new information, new communities, and new spaces. And I need to be okay with pivoting and doing something new. So that's where I am right now, looking at different opportunities of how I can transition from what I'm currently doing and evolve into the next iteration of what my business and what my life is supposed to look like. Because I started this business when I was like 25, about to be 26. I'm 36 now. Life is different. I'm closer to 40 than I am to 20. And the economy and just how we do business and marketing is different. So it's time for me to make some changes based on the marketplace.
I'd love for you to share, because you gave us a little clue that you are a type A person. You're a really good student. So I'd love to hear in that context, or even in building your business, whether you had moments where you experienced burnout because you were trying to build the business or any other reasons.
Oh, absolutely. Burnout, I think even recently, I actually had earlier this year, I had a conversation with a very high achieving Black woman. She's a lawyer by trade, entrepreneur, does extremely well. And she had experienced burnout. She took a 2-month sabbatical overseas with her family. And she was like, it was one of the best things that she did. It gave her so much clarity. It gave her hope. It gave her strategy of what to do so she could have a successful year. And at the time of speaking to her, I knew I was on the verge of burnout. I knew it was coming, but I couldn't stop. And sometimes we're at that point where we're like, we got to keep going. We got to keep going. We can't stop. And I burned out and I had to stop because I got COVID. I was like, okay, I'm taking, after this last event, after this last trip, I'm done. I'm taking a month off. And like that next day when I got back, I was sick. So I had no other choice but to take off. I needed some time. I allowed myself to sleep and rest and relax. Even though people said I didn't take time off, I did. I watched as much TV and Hallmark Channel as I wanted to. I took a mental break from business because I was depleted mentally, physically, financially. I was just tired. And I needed to take some time off for me. And I'm going to discourage people from getting to that point. We should not get to that point where we are burnt out, busted, and disgusted and so tired that we can barely make it happen. We need to have a self-care plan throughout our journey and process. And when you are in spaces and places that require a lot of your mental energy, your physical energy, you got to make a lot of decisions. As a leader, decision fatigue is real. I have meetings, I have a team, and we have meetings at 8 a.m. in the morning. By noon, I don't ask me no more questions. I done answered all the questions between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. And I'm like, you got to make some new decisions. So decision fatigue is real. Burnout is real, but we have to have a self-care plan. So even talking about the election, I usually teach on Tuesday nights. I made an executive decision and I was canceling class for my own self-care.
Right.
I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm having class tonight, but I was like, I'm going to be too antsy. And I made a decision not to watch the results. I wanted to, and then I just said, you know what? Let me just not do it because it was stressing me out. And then I said, no, I can't allow this. I have to have the mental capacity to keep moving and do the things that I need to do. So opting out of things that cause you displeasure. I was like, mental displeasure. If there's like TV and news and it's stressing you out, opt out of it sometimes. You get a chance to say, I'm not doing this. Tomorrow I have to travel. And part of me getting there early is to just mentally unwind before I go into the spaces that I'm going to be in. And some of those spaces will be with people who don't agree with me. And I already know. So I have to be mentally prepared so that I can gain what I need to gain from this experience without feeling frustrated and upset, and come out on the other side with my self-care preserved. Another thing I said to people, get your feelings out, make your therapy appointments. I think it's very important that you have a mental health care plan. Talk to somebody so you can fully be frustrated and develop what I've been asking my therapist about over this last year or two is I need tools to process things that I can't control and I can't handle. I want to be able to have emotional intelligence. I want to be able to process things that are happening to me or things that I believe are happening to me in a more constructive way. So that's the personal journey that I have been on to say, how can I handle it? So when, the results came, I was upset, but I was pretty calm because I've already been preparing myself for how can I handle things in the world that I cannot control. How can I expand my capacity? How can I, and also prayer, spiritual favor. I am a woman of God, and I believe that God got me. And and I had to be in a season when that burnout happened, I was in a season, okay, you got to build your capacity. So what does that capacity building look like for you? And some of it is also even working out, walking, laughing, going out on a date, eating some candy, like doing things that you delight in, that bring you joy, and just opting out of life sometimes, opting out of all the things that are happening, even though it seems like you can't, even if it's just 5 minutes for you to meditate in the morning, 5 minutes to give yourself some time to put the oxygen mask back on you so that you can do the work you need to do in the world. Because what I understand is I can't be a bad me. There's too many people dependent on me. Right. So I don't have that luxury to be like, oh, forget it. It's just, there are people who are depending on me who need me to be okay. So I gotta be okay because it's bigger than me. So when you understand that it's bigger than you understand that you got to put the oxygen mask on you, and you understand that there are things working in your favor that you can't even see, that despite what you see in the physical space, there's good happening on the back end that you're going to reap the benefits of. You sleep a little bit better.
It's so interesting that you said that you decided to opt out of class. I could not opt out of class. I had to teach. But how we started class was I did a 10-minute guided imagery with all the students so that they could just decompress from the tension in the environment, whatever that is, the experience, and then having to come to class amidst all of that. And then I think it was 30 minutes before the polls closed. So I just wanted them to have a moment, and they enjoyed that.
We will have that tonight because I understand that when you are someone who possesses light, you got to be light in dark situations like this. You have to speak. You have to be a voice of reason. We still need reason. We need light. We need goodness. We need joy in the world. So I understand my obligation, even though it may be heavy on me too, but I understand my assignment, like I said, is so much bigger than me. And I understand that there's more work for us to do in this world. So yeah, I definitely will be holding space for people today because they feel sad. They feel distraught. and understand, like, what do we need to do moving forward? Because we will get through this and we will be successful and prosperous on the other end.
Beautiful. I'd love to give you the opportunity to issue a challenge to our audience to move their life forward. You talked a lot about being mobilized and moving forward. So the floor is yours.
Be the light that you want to see in the world. Okay, that's the first thing. If you want to see it, be it first. And that requires you to be the best version of you. Be the best version of you. If that means you're waking up a little bit earlier, that means you're drinking an extra gallon of water, or ounces of water. You are listening to positive music and affirmations. You are filling your cup with goodness, positivity, light, and strategies that are going to help you catapult to the next level so that you can combat the things that are happening in your world. Because life is going to life and things are going to happen. There's so many internal and external conflicts that we endure on a daily basis. So you need to retool and refuel yourself every single day. Just like you change your clothes and take a bath, you need to refuel your mental capacity every single day. Then the next thing is, once you are refueled, make a plan to take action. Do something. My last name is a do. We say just to do it. You see a problem, you see a challenge. Okay, don't just complain about it, just to do it. What are we going to do next? So the next piece of this is we're going to be the best version of us, but we're going to do something and we're going to take action. And then the other obligation we have is once we ascend into the places and spaces we're supposed to be, take somebody else with you, mentor someone else. Understand that the experiences that you have, let somebody learn that lesson. The hard lessons that you've learned, they could just learn it from you. So take someone with you and grow together. It doesn't have to be lonely at the top if you decide to take other people with you. So that's kind of just my life mantra. We're going to be better. We're going to take action and do better. And we're going to take people with us.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that and offering that to our guests. And I'd also like you to, what do you do to relax? Something you do that has nothing to do with work, that is just your unique you.
What does that mean? Okay. I enjoy my Hallmark movies. I love Christmas movies all year round.
Okay.
I know what to expect. I was watching Christmas movies last night. I probably will watch Christmas movies today. I enjoy the love stories, the lighthearted shows and movies. And I've been watching some old sitcoms and things like that. So that's one thing. I enjoy traveling. I genuinely enjoy spending time with my family. I have a large family. I have 13 nieces and nephews. I enjoy talking to them and spending time with them. So family time is just very important for me. I want to be intentional as I'm intentional about the work that I do, and I work really hard. I want to be intentional about spending time with them. Like I have some new baby cousins that are twins, and just spending time with them, watching them laugh and tumble and roll over and just be babies was, the highlight of my weekend last weekend. So being able to have that flexibility to spend intentional time with my family is important to me.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Dr. Du. And I'll definitely ensure that I leave your contact information in the comment section. So if someone wants to connect with you, they can do so at that time.
Let's connect. I'm looking forward to this. Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. My name is Dr. Kimberly L. Wilson, and you've been watching Leadership Beyond Burnout. You can see us every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 2 p.m. Pacific. Until next time, we will see you later.